Hey guys, I am talking with one of our successful agents right now, Jason Reynolds. Jason, hello to you.
Yeah, hello.
Well, thanks for joining here today. Jason, I have a couple questions for you that I'm hoping we can go through. And if you don't mind, just please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Jason Reynolds. I'm in Southern Arizona currently. Just recently moved here from Minnesota, which was actually the reason for my change in brokerages and association with all that. But we can get into that later. It was earlier this year that I got in touch with Realty Connect. So yeah, not even a full year here, and to date, I've had two successful closings. I'm sure you're going to ask about it. One was actually my own home purchase in Arizona, and then the other was referral back from my home state. So
Okay. Well, you're doing fantastic. You're off to a great start. And yes, I have a couple questions as far as earning a referral commission on your own home whenever you buy and sell is kind of a no-brainer. But how much were those the two referral checks that have closed so far? How much were that?
I don't remember exact numbers. I think the first one was somewhere in the fours, mid fours, and then the other one was I think just over 3,000.
Okay. Yeah, I think that my admin manager kind of gave me the notes on that, and it looks like one was 3,500 and one was 4,500. So total 8,000 that you've done right now. And Jason, what's so incredible about that is that you invested $100. In return, you've received $8,000 so far. You've been with us for less than a year. That's a 7,900% return on investment. I mean, that's another one of the surprising statistics that a lot of agents kind of don't do the math on. But I mean, I wish my 401k did that, right? I mean, it would be great, but that's an awesome return on investment. So again, congratulations on your success. And we'll get into some of that here a little bit later. So, all right. So Jason, you've been with us for less than a year. Before you joined us, can you describe what kind of problem or challenge you're facing and how did joining Realty Connect help you solve that problem?
In Minnesota, I went through all the processes. Started with a big firm or big brokerage, and was just a little agent. Then I went to a small brokerage and was a bigger agent there, or comparatively, and then ended up being a broker as well myself. Went through that whole process, and then got to this point where I was going to be moving, and the problem was I wasn't licensed in another state. I had a lot going on with my other job actually, and didn't want to have to worry about going through the process. So I was looking for a way to refer myself. I'd actually moved my broker's license to a larger nationwide brokerage, but I wanted a little bit more freedom from the fees and stuff that I was going to have to, maintain by staying with them. And so they were actually the ones that turned me on to Realty Connect as an option. And after doing the research, it was kind of a no-brainer. Very, like you said, very small upfront investment to basically still have that referral power, and that referral power is nationwide, which was a key token for me. So
Yeah. And you hit another key, which is a lot of agents don't understand when they join us with one license, they can refer in all 50 states. You get your real estate license, you think in terms of Minnesota or Arizona, right? And you're thinking, okay, this is my market and this is where I'm going to I can only make my referrals, but not true. As a Road to Connect agent, you can refer in all 50 states. So you really do have a nationwide presence, and the opportunity is a lot bigger than what a lot of agents think of initially when they come in. So I appreciate you pointing that out. All right. So, Jason, when you joined, can you describe how easy that the process was? Did you have any difficulties, challenges? How long did it take? What was that process like?
I mean, as far as I can remember, it was pretty smooth and easy, and it's just probably telling that I don't remember much about the process, because it was that easy. Having changed, a few times in the past, different brokerages, and then obtaining my broker's license and moving things. I think a couple emails here and there, and sign an agreement and get things going. So
Yeah, we try to make the joining process fast and easy. And a lot of agents, when we say it only takes 5 minutes to join, that's literally our process. Agents who have moved their license or have not joined a brokerage yet, they might be a little skeptical about what that claim is, but we walk you through step by step the license transfer process, and it happens pretty quick. All right, so before you joined us, you said you did a little research, but what advice would you give to other agents who are considering joining? but might be a little skeptical. I mean, maybe you are a little skeptical as well. Share your advice to agents who might be procrastinating on the decision or might be on the fence about joining.
Well, I can just speak to my personal experience, I guess. I approach everything with a very healthy amount of skepticism. The brokerages that I made changes to, and even becoming a broker on my own, was I wouldn't say skeptical, but I do a lot of research and I dig deep. And as far as Realty Connect goes, the experience I had was, it almost seemed too easy, and too, like, transparent, if you will. I'd been with another brokerage, years ago, that was, it's like, oh, well, yeah, here's your check, but then here's the 8 or 9 or 10 other little line items that we didn't tell you about up front, and you end up,
Right.
shelling out a whole bunch of money. And Realty Connect was very transparent right up front. And I read through your FAQs probably 10 times on the website, and it's been a great experience. Advice, I really don't know. I mean, this really was an easy no-brainer. Like I said, it almost seemed too easy, but I think that's probably by design. I'm sure you designed the company in that way to make it as easy and seamless as can be for potential agents. So
That's our goal. We try to make everything fast and easy so that if someone is interested in joining, there's no friction to the process. We do it all for you. Basically, once you join, we even do the license transfer process. We walk people through step by step. That's for every state because every state has their own process that the agent needs to follow in order to do that. So we even lay that down. We've broken it down for all 50 states and laid it down. Hey, do this first, do this second, do this third, and then everything goes through. So I'm glad that I appreciate you sharing what you went through on your end. So you said that there was two successful referrals that you've had with us so far. Can you describe how easy it was to get paid from those referrals once they closed?
I honestly, just as easy as it always has been for me. There were no extra hoops or things to jump through. Once the Realty Connect office received the check, got an email pretty promptly that said, "Hey, how do you want this disbursement?" I think there were two or three, and pardon me for not remembering, but I just, it was super easy to just say, yeah, just shoot me a check, and I wasn't in a position where I had to have that money immediately, so I was fine waiting a couple days for it to be in the mail. But and sure enough, the first one showed up and was for the amount that I expected it to be for, and that made the next one just as easy to say, yeah, just send me a check. So
No surprises with that. And I am sensitive to when it comes to anything relating to money and our agents. So the minute we get a check on behalf of an agent, we email them immediately and give them the two options. Like, we've received your check. You have two options. We can either e-check it to you, which means that you have the check. It's almost like a wire. You get the e-check right then and right there. You can deposit it into your bank the same day. So you can get paid the same day, deposit the money the same day that we send the check. Or we can also do paper checks. And it sounds like that's what you elected for, which is, that's just fine too. It does usually take the USPS, however long that it takes, maybe a couple of days, but we even send them certified so that we can track them. But I'm real sensitive to our agents because it sounds like you're in the position where you didn't need the money right away, but we understand that some agents do, and they're counting on that money. So we want to make sure it's in their hands as quickly as possible and that they're not having any delays or any experiences with that. So that's I'm glad everything went smooth for you too. All right. So let's talk about your client, right? Because you were a client in one of these transactions. And I love that because, again, with agents, that's a benefit of being a Realty Connect agent by itself, is that you earn referral fees on your own transactions. Tell me about your second transaction that you closed with us.
yeah, that one was actually a past client that I had helped on a buy sell several years ago. It was a difficult family situation that they were going through, and they basically had to get out of that house relatively quickly. And so, they said, "I know you're, 6 states away. What can you do? You're the one we want to use, but we understand that that's not a possibility right now." And so that one, I referred to another agent that I knew, that I worked closely with back in Minnesota, knowing that agent's history and knowing what the seller needed out of the transaction. They connected and made it happen right away. super quick and seamless, and everything, they met the goal that they needed to hit in terms of, selling and the funds they needed from that. So that went really well. Like I said, it was an unfortunate family situation that they were dealing with, and had to sell. But they worked through the process, and the other agent that I referred them to wasn't with Realty Connect at that point. But as far as I know from them, there wasn't really any trouble.
Okay, that's good because we tried to spend a lot of time creating the ideal process. That again, no friction. It's easy, fast, and easy for our agents to submit referrals, make referrals. It's easy, fast, easy for people for the other agents on the other side to accept the referrals and hit the ground running with the client information. So when you went through our system, you said that it was the other agent maybe had an admin issue with their company email or whatever that was. No worries, but can you share how long it took you to make your referrals through our website? How long did it take? Did you have any issues?
Not on my end. I mean, setting up the referral, I mean, you guys even have a video on it that makes it super step by step. Anybody could do it. I could probably have my 9-year-old go through it and make a referral.
I love that. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. So in from my side, it wasn't there was no issue. I think from their side, just receiving and getting their account established might have been some, I don't want to say confusion or difficulty. I think they had a lot going on with how quickly this transaction needed to move, and rightfully so. They were focused on the client, not necessarily on getting this account set up. And that's how I would have treated it as well had I been in their shoes. Make sure the client's needs are taken care of, and this admin stuff, we can sort that out as we go.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right, so let's talk about the client on the other side. Once you submitted them as a referral, what was their experience like?
Yeah, so this not being an agent that was already in the database of Realty Connect, but if you would call it that, just an agent that I knew personally, said, "Hey, by the way, I need to refer this transaction to you." And as we know in real estate, right, like the brokerage has to get paid. And I said, "I don't have a brokerage right now that you can get that I can get paid to, except for Realty Connect. That's what we need to go through." From the client side of it anyway, there was really no difference. I made the personal connection to them. Hey, this is agent whomever who you're going to be working with. This is client seller, and just like any other transaction that I would have referred, if everybody were in the same state, that's exactly how I handled that. They had a great experience. So.
Oh, that's great. And you hit the nail on the head. There's so many behind the scenes things that need to happen to make a successful transaction between the two brokerages. There's the agreements that need to be signed, protecting your referral commission, of course, and a lot of other things that all need to go right for that client to have a great experience. The client doesn't know about this stuff. They don't care about it and they don't need to. All they need to know is that someone is taking care of them right away and helping them with their real estate goals. So we try to make that part seamless as well too. We do our best because we have agents that range in age from 18 years old to 80 years old, right? So we have to have a process that works for everybody. So it's funny when you mentioned, my 9-year-old could make the referral. We try to make it that easy so that anyone can do it. So I thought that was funny, but also appropriate too. So I appreciate you pointing that out. Jason, last question I have for you is you are one of our successful agents. You've already closed 2 referrals, $8,000. You have another one on the way. What advice would you give to other Realty Connect agents who might be struggling to make their first referral?
I think there's two sides to that. The first one is, I'm a proponent of everybody having a real estate license for their own transactions. Personally, I've told, maybe I shouldn't be sharing this, but I've told friends of mine, like, hey, just go get your real estate license. This can cost you a couple grand, but you're gonna get a much bigger check than that on successful closing of your house. And then if you don't want to do anything else, just let it go on ice. Let it sit and do nothing. So if for nothing else, for your own transactions, it's so beneficial to have, especially Realty Connect, with having the low fees, very minimal in terms of keeping things going and maintaining that. Whereas with other brick and mortar brokerages that you might be looking at in your own home state, or even larger ones that are nationwide or cloud based, they still have a lot more fees to maintain, to keep things going for you. And so that was one key aspect that I was looking at to move to Realty Connect. So the other aspect that you said, or more direct to the question, struggling to make a first referral. I mean, real estate's always top of mind. That's the name of the game. And so the biggest thing for me is making sure that my people, my past clients and my friends and family circle know that I'm still able to assist them, maybe not directly, but I can still make a connection for them in real estate and get them connected with somebody that is vetted and professional, and that I know will handle and treat them and with the respect and due diligence that they deserve. So
It's great advice, and it's really, you have to let people know that you can help them, because if you're going to be a secret agent, why would any what the referrals aren't going to come to you. You need to let people know how you can help them, and those are conversations. And again, you can have those conversations in all 50 states. So friends, family, people that you know, past clients, anything in all 50 states, you can communicate with them and let them know, hey, by the way, I'm a licensed agent. We're still connected. Here's how I can help. If you have any questions, if you ever need any help, please let me know. Just getting the communication out, the messaging out, makes a big difference. A big challenge for a lot of our agents is that we call them secret agents. It's almost like they're shy about it. If they have a conversation about real estate with someone, they don't even mention that they're a real estate agent, because they're not confident what to say or how to kind of take it to a conversation, to a referral opportunity. So we have a 30-day boot camp that helps our agents kind of train what opportunities to look for, what to say in those situations so that you can capitalize on those. And you said something else that I think is really cool, is that you encourage people to get their real estate license just for their own transactions. So here's an interesting statistics. According to National Association of Realtors, there's 1.5 million realtors out there right now, right? And of that, there's over half of them do 0 to 1 transaction a year. So that means over half the agents are probably not getting a return on their investment with a real estate license. So there's 2 million agents, with the majority not doing real estate. So it makes perfect sense for them to join Realty Connect, to put their license in a holding company and put it on ice, as you say, right? Just kind of keep it. And then when you have a transaction, when you have a referral opportunity or a transaction, you can use Realty Connect as a revolving door. Go out to the brokerage and do your transaction if you want, and then come right back to Realty Connect and avoid all the fees. So that's how a lot of agents, they use us. And when I say use us, we're glad that we can help, just because we're a great resting place for them to be. So Jason, it was an honor to chat with you. Thank you for giving your time, and appreciate you sharing your experience as one of our successful agents. So thank you again.
yeah, absolutely.